for joining me. For today's practice, I'd like you to find a block or a chunky book or a really firm cushion. I also am going to be using in the practice today a yoga belt. So if you don't have a proper yoga belt, don't worry, you can use a normal belt from a pair of jeans or a dressing gown belt instead. We're going to start the practice lying on our backs with your knees bent and placing the chunky book, the yoga block, or the firm cushion underneath your sacrum in order to lift your lower back off the mat and to support your pelvis. Ground through the soles of your feet, balls and pads of your toes. And with your eyes closed, just focus your internal gaze now on the space just above the two eyebrows. As always, make a conscious action to unclench your teeth and to completely relax your jaw. And as your shoulders, back of your head, length of your arms, backs of your hands, soles of your feet rest on the ground. With your pelvis elevated, with the use of the prop that you've chosen to place underneath your sacrum, underneath your tail, just allow yourself a few breaths now just to breathe down into your mid-back, into your kidneys, into your adrenals, and to let the air circulate all around your body. Be aware each time you inhale of your belly expanding, and each time you exhale, feel your abdominal muscles contract. Deep breath in, feel your belly expand. Slow breath out, feel that activity deep in your belly, pelvic floor, naturally rising up to mirror the lifting action of the diaphragm. And just for the next few breaths, in this supported supine shape, just let go of your plans for the rest of the day. Any thoughts of the week that's behind you? And just become that little bit more present and that little bit more connected to the here and now. And as you become that little bit more connected to the here and now, take inventory of how your body's feeling physically. Take stock of how you're feeling mentally, emotionally, and energetically. In other words, begin to gather up an enhanced understanding of exactly where you're at today. And then just float your arms up and overhead, spread the fingers, and just let your fingertips come all the way down to the ground, and just feel that stretching out the front of your body, armpits. And then as you exhale, pick up your right foot and hover your hands back down to the ground and just draw your right knee back over your right hip. And then take the right foot down and take the arms overhead. Deep breath in. As you exhale, pick up the left leg, knee bent, leg at 90 degrees. Lift the knee over the hip. And then lower the foot and take the arms back overhead with a deep breath in. Now activate the deep core, really draw the belly down towards the floor and lift both feet simultaneously. Knees are just traveling over the hips. And then take both feet down and take both arms overhead as you breathe in. Same thing, exhaling, left foot lifting. Take the left foot down. Exhale, pick up the right foot and bring your arms down. And take the arms overhead and the right foot back down to the ground. Pick up both feet as you take your hands down. And you've still got your lower back supported by your block, by your chunky book. And then form two separate circles with your knees in the air. And you can either keep your legs deeply bent to the left, just circling the thigh bones around the hips. But if you want a little bit more challenge, straighten the legs and take the legs in big circles with pointed toes around the hips. Try to keep the back of your neck in line with the rest of your spine. Circling both legs simultaneously, but traveling them in two polar opposite directions and gathering your belly down towards your spine. And then keeping the pelvis stable, start to circle your legs in the opposite direction, whether your knees are bent or whether you've got straight legs and pointed toes. Try to keep your pelvis stable, your core muscles switched on, your shoulders, facial muscles relaxed. And then once you've circled in both directions equally, and not in a tearing hurry to get that done, just come back where you began with knees bent. And with the knees bent, just draw the knees side by side and outstretch your arms with your palms facing down, still with your pelvis lifted. Exhale, slowly lower your heels to the floor and squeeze strongly together your knees, your inner thighs, and just let the backs of your heels land. And then without throwing the legs up, slowly squeezing the knees tight, lift your knees back over your hips. Exhaling, feet flex, lower the backs of your heels to the ground. And inhale, lift your knees back over your hips. Exhaling, lower your heels down. And inhale, lift the knees back over the hips. Exhaling, slowly, belly drawn to spine. Inhale. One more of these. Exhale, squeeze the knees together. And inhale, lift the knees back over the hips. Bring your hands back down alongside your hips and lower those feet to the ground. And then just lift your pelvis off of whatever it is that you had supporting your pelvis. And one bone at a time, just slowly descend the spine until you arrive on your coccyx. Once your coccyx land, take a deep breath in and take both arms overhead and your knees to the left. Take a deep breath in. Then travel back over the feet, knees over heels, and bring your hands back down by your hips. Take your arms overhead, let your knees travel right. Deep breath in. And exhale as you bring your hands back down by your hips. Continue like this. Deep breath in, knees travel left. Slow breath out, knees travel over the heels. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Deep breath in, knees travel right, arms overhead. And then bring your hands back down by your hips. As you take your arms up and overhead, take a deep breath in. Now keep the feet on the ground, pelvis on the ground, and your belly caved. As you exhale, peel your head and shoulders off the floor and hover your arms either side of your thighs as you rise. Peer between the valley of your knees. Then inhale, take your arms up and overhead and feel your lower back dome off the mat. Exhaling, peel your head and shoulders off the floor, chin tucks in, hover your arms. Inhale, take the arms overhead. Exhaling as you rise. And inhale as you recline. Exhale, hollow the belly and rise. And inhale as you recline. One more time. Exhaling. And inhaling. As you sweep the hands all the way once again to rest down by your thighs, place your right ankle on top of your left knee, just above, on top of your left thigh, just above the knee, and just parallel your right shin with the floor. Again, outstretch your arms. Stretch out your arms like an eagle, spreading your wings. And then slowly roll over onto the little toe side of your left foot and deposit your right foot onto the floor and make a perfect footprint with it. Now take your left hand and place that alongside the inside seam of your right knee thigh, and then take your right arm to frame the side of your face, and reaching behind you with your right fingertips, and reaching forwards with your left palm, just take a stretch into the right ribs and the right waist. Breathe long, deep breaths into what's there. Can you believe it? It's raining on me. Hopefully not too hard. Breathe steadily into that shape. And as you stretch out the right side of your body and coax forwards with the help of your left hand, your right knee, right thigh. Breathe into the pocket of your right hip. Very slowly from there, roll over onto your back and thread your right hand in between your legs and take a keyhole stretch. Using your hands around the front of your left thigh to coax that right shin closer into your chin and into your chest. And as you coax the right shin closer into your chin and into your chest, again, just all easing into your back body, easing into your pelvis, breathing long, deep breaths. And as you do that, just take your right leg across your left thigh and bind your legs in eagle. And with the legs tightly bound, take a little shimmy of your hips over to the right side of your mat, and then spread your wings again and flip your palms to face the ground. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, really squeezing those legs tightly, begin to guide your legs over to the left and turn your face down the length of your right arm, and then flip your palms and take a deep stretch across your collarbones and your shoulder blades. And then you can perform another adjustment using your left hand and bring it right up to the top of your right thigh where it inserts into the hip. And then apply consistent pressure with the heel of your hand against the thigh bone and keep coaxing your right sit bone, right hip forwards. And with that consistent pressure against the thigh bone and long, steady, deep breaths, keep twisting and turning your navel, heart, and eyes to the right. From there, extend both arms, flip both palms once again, and anchor your shoulders. Keep the legs tightly bound as you slowly lift them out off of the ground, and then unravel your legs from their bind. Wrap your arms around your shins, bring your forehead in to greet both of your knees, come into a little ball. And then let your head and shoulders return to the ground. Place your right foot on the floor and place your left ankle on top of your right thigh, bringing your shin parallel to the ground once more. Take both arms overhead. As you inhale, take your left foot to the right. And as you come into that stretch, breathing steadily, long, deep breaths, again, just breathing into what's there. Take your right hand to the inside seam of your left thigh and apply pressure. Bring your left arm to frame the side of your face. And as you reach behind you with your left fingertips and coax forwards with the help of your right hand, your left thigh, gently opening up that left hip. Each time you breathe in, try to reach back a little bit more with your left fingertips. Each time you exhale, turn along with your eyes, your navel and your heart to the left a bit more. Then sweeping the hands back around and coming back onto your spine, pick up the foot and thread the left hand between the legs this time, coming into your keyhole. Coax that shin closer in. Use your left elbow against the inner thigh to further enhance that stretch. And then with your eyes perhaps closed and focus very much on how this feels on the inside, start to rock gently from side to side. Once you've had a little rock and roll from side to side, come back to stillness, come back to the midline. And then release your hands and scoot your calf across the top of your thigh, revisiting that eagle bind with the legs again. Outstretch the arms, slightly shimmy the hips to the left by 1 centimeter or 3. And then exhale, tightly binding the legs, engaging the core. Take your legs to the right, eyes to the left, and flip the palms to face the sky. Take a deep breath and stretch out across your collarbones and shoulder blades. Then place your right hand, if you went there before, against the top of your left thigh this time, and apply that consistent pressure again. And as you coax forwards the left hip and breathe long, deep breaths into what's there, just focusing your gaze softly over your left arm towards the root of your thumb. Very slowly roll your way back onto your spine. Unravel your legs from that eagle bind. Wrap your arms around your shins. Bring your forehead in to greet your knees. Come into that snuggly little ball. And then as you let your head and shoulders return to the floor and slip your palms to the backs of your thighs, start to make a rock and roll over your spine with your chin tucked in a few times. And once you've rocked and rolled forwards and backwards a few times over your spine, noisy crickets again. Oh my gosh, they're all at it. Bring your hands under your side. Can you hear that? That's so noisy. Everything's against me today. Hands under your side, close your eyes. Goodness me, please be quiet. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, cave your belly, bow your head, chin to chest. I hope you can hear me. Take a slow breath in and ripple your way through the spine, one bone at a time. Inhaling. How on earth can you make that noise with such tiny legs? Exhale, cave the belly, bow your head, chin to the chest. Another deep breath in, rippling your way through the spine, one bone at a time. Exhale, cave your belly, arch your back, and bow your head to your heart. As you inhale, come all the way up to the neutral spine, nice long spine, nice relaxed shoulders. And then just bring your hands to the back of your head and frame your neck with your thumbs. Draw your elbows out of your peripheral sight line. As you exhale, begin to twist to the right, keeping your spine upright and both sitting bones strongly grounded. As you inhale, come back to the center. And then as you exhale, twist left. And then as you inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, twist right. Keep the sit bones really grounded. Don't let them come with you. Inhale. And then exhale, twist left. And then come back to the midline. Now still with your head in your hands, exhale and lean to the right. And as you lean to the right, see if you can just keep winging your left elbow tip upwards towards the ceiling and just lean into gravity. Keep leaning your head into your palms and just let your right elbow, right ribs, right waist sink closer to the ground. Come back to the midline with a slow inhale and then lean over to the left as you exhale everything. With the right elbow lifting and the left elbow sinking to the ground, pause, drop in on gravity again. On the next breath in, come all the way back to the midline and take your hands behind your back, interlocking your fingers there. Once you've threaded your fingers, take another deep breath in, bloat the belly, fill the chest, and let the knuckles rise away from your tail potentially. With your feet flexed, exhale, cave the belly and slowly make your way into a forward bend. With your feet flexed and your sitting bones grounded, try not to bludgeon your shoulders into submission, but let your knuckles, your hands float gently away from your tail. As they rise away from your tail, maybe just take a little nudge of your knuckles from right to left, left to right a few times. And as you nudge your knuckles from left to right to left a few times, just feel that in the front of your chest. Feel that in the shoulder girdle. Keep breathing your long, deep breath. And then stay low and let your knuckles float down to your tail. And remain low as you sweep your hands from behind you to outstretch them in front of you with your hands poised like two little wigwams. See if you can inch your fingertips that little bit further forwards. And as you breathe in, imagine dragging your fingers back towards your shins. And as you breathe out, see if you can fold a little deeper. Breathe in again, and imagine dragging fingers to shins. Breathe out, and fold a little bit deeper again. Stay low, and thread your left arm underneath your right armpit. And remain low as you continue to inch your right fingertips that little bit further forward. As you peer underneath your tricep, let your head be heavy. And again, give yourself to gravity and see if you can sink a little bit closer, shoulders, side of your head towards the ground. As you extract your arm from underneath your armpit and reframe your ear with it, come back into your more symmetrical forward bend. And then tuck your chin into your collarbones, curl your way up through the vertebrae, take your time to sit fully upright and change the cross of your legs so the opposite shin is now in front. Once again, poise your fingertips, the drift of your hips. Float the fingertips now above your crown, keeping your shoulders down. And again, bring your hands behind your back and reintroduce that interlace to the fingers. Only move them along an arch, so the opposite index finger's in front this time. Lift your knuckles away from your tail, inhaling. And then exhale and bring your fists to the right of your waist and really wedge the fists into the side body. Squeeze the palms together, shoulder blades, elbows, triceps. Looking for another stretch into the neck and upper traps, incline your head over your shoulder and slightly tilt it towards the shoulder blade. With the weight of your head now facilitating that stretch into the left side of your neck, left upper trapezius muscles, keep wedging your hands into your waist. Continue to let your mind inhabit a quiet place as you breathe into that stretch. And then come sitting upright and flip the fists to the left of the waist. Squish your palms together, elbows, shoulder blades, triceps, and slightly lean the head back and over the left shoulder in the direction of the shoulder blade. And again, pause there to experience that stretch, just as it is. From here, bring yourself back to the midline and release your hands back behind your tail, keeping the fingers intertwined and lifting the knuckles away from your tailbone. Think back bend again as you smile both your lips and your collarbones upwards to the heavens. And then forward bend as you flex your feet and hinge at the hip crease. And as you fold, again, not forcing, but encouraging those knuckles to rise, soften your elbows, bow your arms, and imagine trying to pull your fingers apart from their bind. Have a little play at nudging your knuckles from side to side again, easing a stretch out of the shoulders, the chest. Then find stillness and let your knuckles float back to your tail. Stay low as you sweep your hands from behind you out in front of you again. And poised on your sitting bones with feet still flexed, try to inch your fingertips that little bit further forwards beyond your shins. With your head melting between your arms, continue with those slow, steady, conscious breaths. And then threading the needle with the right arm threading underneath the left arm this time. Keep inching your fingertips of your left hand forwards. Let your head hang heavy and encourage shoulder, face, side of your body to sink closer to the ground again. From that twist and shoulder stretch, extract the arm, come back into your forward bend with your hands poised like little wigwams again. And then tuck in your chin, ripple your way back up through the spine and come back up to where you started. Find your way over to kneeling now on all fours. And once you've got yourself kneeling on all fours, if you need to pleat your mat underneath your knees, then go for it. And once you've got your wrists beneath your shoulders and your knees beneath your hips, just begin to swing your hips from right to left, left to right a few times, just warming up the wrists, weight bearing through the shoulders, through the arms, mobilization through the spine as you swing your hips from side to side. And then start to build on that movement and start to form circles with your navel, shifting the weight bearing forwards towards the fingertips, coasting the seat back towards the heels and swinging your hips from side to side. As you begin to find a steady rhythm in those sweeping circles heading in the first direction that you embarked upon, when you're ready, start to wind your way back in the opposite direction.
In a bag in your room, Oshan.
Once you've circled your hips in the second direction, and again, not in a tearing hurry, begin to reduce those circles again. And as you reduce those circles, find yourself coming back to the midline where you began. So carrying on with this pelvic mobilization, a little bit more core. Take your left arm forwards and your right leg back. You want to internally rotate the right thigh and point the toes. You're externally rotating the left arm, so your palm is facing to the right. And hold that position with the back of your head in line with the rest of your spine. Try to keep lifting your lower belly towards your back as if you're zipping up a pair of jeans. And keep that feeling in your lower belly as you lower your fingertips, lower your toes, exhaling. Then inhale, float the arm, float the leg back up again. Exhale with control. Lift the arm, lift the leg a little higher this time. Exhaling. And inhale. Exhaling. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. One more the same, exhaling with control again. And then inhale. And then bend the knee and reach back with your left hand and see how you get on grabbing your foot or your ankle. If you can't find it, if you can't reach it, just hold the leg in place all on its own. And you can either have your hands on the floor or you can have your left arm reaching forward. You can just be reaching back to frame your head. Looking forwards now through heart and eyes and higher than your eye line up the wall ahead of you. Keep squeezing together your inner thighs and your outer hips. Try to find stillness that manifests not just physically, but mentally. This is something I'd like these crickets to do. And then bring your left hand to the floor, and as you exhale, bring your forehead to your knee and take a dancing tap. As you inhale, raise your heel and lift your crown. Exhale again, cave your belly, arch your back. And inhale. Exhaling. And inhale. One more the same, exhaling again. And inhale. Now place, with the help of your hands, if need be, your right foot between your hands. So you're coming into a kneeling runner's lunge. Scooch your left knee back a little bit, pad it out if you need to, and poise yourself on your fingertips. If that's not happening and you can't reach the floor without really collapsing down, then pop a couple of blocks underneath your hands and look forward through your heart and eyes as you stabilize. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale, straighten your front leg and peel your foot off the floor, flexing your foot. Slowly travel forwards, inhaling, glide symmetrically forwards the hips. And as you exhale, as if being pulled by the tail, retreat back again. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, suck back. Inhale. And exhale. One more the same. Inhale, shift forwards again. And then exhale, shift back. As you shift back, keep your left hand where it is on the ground. Raise your right hand to the sky and twist towards the inside seam of your front leg, your right thigh. So you're twisting to the right, trying to stack your shoulders and cast your gaze up to the root of your thumb. Keep sucking the thigh bone of your right leg into your right hip and try to coax this right hip back a bit. In much the same way as we do the adjustment with our hands on the thigh when we're in a supine twist. And then just float the right hand forwards and see how you get on grasping the front of your foot, applying a little bit of pressure against the foot with the hand, but equally pushing against your palm with the balls and pads of your toes. Hinge at the hip crease, and with the leg switched on, foot switched on, and your hand pulling against the foot, fold quietly into your forward bend. Now pop your hand onto the ground by the inside seam of your right ankle and swing your right leg, the half circle it needs to go, be parallel with the back of your mat. Your knee beneath your hip, your wrist beneath your shoulder, raise your fingertips and take yourself into a side plank. Take your upper arm, right arm in this case, up and overhead, and try to dome your side ribs and waist towards the heavens. Keep reaching forward with your fingertips, really ground through the little toe side of your right foot. Take some long, deep breaths into the side body. From there, take your right hand down and bring both knees beneath your hips Coming onto all fours. And as you exhale, cave your belly, dome your back, and come into a startled flat stretch. Chin tucks into the chest. Tuck under your toes. Soft bend in your elbows. Imagine dragging the wrists to the knees, knees to the wrists for dogtail. Exhale again, coming into your scaredy cat. Deep breath in, coming through to dogtail. Exhale as you ripple your way through the spine into your cat-up. One more like that, inhaling. And then find a neutral spine, a nice flat back as I change directions. And as you come into your kneeling position on all fours, continue to breathe steadily as you take your left leg back and your right arm forwards and find your balance again. Internally rotating the thigh, externally rotating the arm, and keeping the back of your head in line with the rest of your spine. Hold that position still. Really activate the core and keep the pelvis stable as you exhale, lower your toes, lower your fingertips with control. Inhale, refloat them. Exhaling. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Keep going, exhaling. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. One more round, make it a good one. Exhaling. And inhale. Holding your arm, holding your leg still. Bending your knee and grabbing your foot ankle if you can reach. Begin to kick your foot into your palm, lift your heel and lift your crown, and take your gaze higher up the wall in front of you. Keep hugging together your inner thighs, your outer hips, and really supercharge the supporting standing left arm. Feel that stretch in your hip flexor, your left quadricep. From there, release your foot, but keep it high. Bring both hands to the ground. As you exhale, forehead to knee, cave the belly. Inhale, kick your foot to the sky, lift your crown, dancing cat. Exhaling. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale as you dome your back, cave your belly. Inhale, lift your heel, lift your crown. Keeping the thigh within the frame of your hip, one more round. Deep breath in. Now place the left foot up between both hands, poised on your fingertips, scoot your right knee back a bit, pad it out, and look forward through heart and eyes towards the wall in front of you. Create that sense of stability through your foundations. And then exhale and pull back, peeling your foot off the mat and directing the tips of your toes to the rafters. Inhale, shift forwards. And exhale, pull back. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Deep breath in. And a slow breath out. One more the same with a deep breath in. And a slow breath out. This time pause in that forward bend, gazing towards the top of your mat. And then keeping your right hand where it is, raise your left hand to the sky and twist in the direction of the front leg again, the inner thigh. Keep sucking the thigh bone into the hip. Keep coaxing the left hip back. Try to stack your shoulders, really reach up with quite a lot of enthusiasm with your left fingertips and spread them wide. Get a real stretch from the palm of your hand, the tips of your fingers and thumb. And then keep with the left leg extended, the foot flexed, and drive the left hand forwards to grasp the front of your foot if you can. Pivot, square the hips, gaze forwards to the tip of your nose, and fold into your forward bend with effortless ease. Pushing the foot into the palm and with equal force, pulling against the foot with your hand. From here, place your hand on the inside seam of your left leg. And slide the foot all the way to the back of your mat. Stack shoulders, stack hips, and raise left fingertips to come into that second side plank. Take the left arm up and overhead to dome the side body and to emphasize that stretch from your ankle to your fingertips. Keep gazing up past your armpit towards the sky. From that side stretch and plank position, let the left hand come forwards, let the left knee come back beneath your hips. And as you tuck under your toes and partially take your seat towards your heels, start to lift the knees just a centimetre or so above the mat. So working once again to build up some strength in the upper body, in the arms. With the knees just fractionally lifted from the floor and balancing on the balls of your toes, once again, just swing your pelvis from right to left, left to right, without locking your elbows. Keep gathering your lower belly to your spine as you swing your hips a couple more times from right to left, left to right, before coming back to stillness at the midline. Then slowly begin to straighten the legs without locking the knees. Let the head be heavy, the jaw be slack, and gaze back between your heels. Take some long, deep breaths in your downward facing dog pose. Try to spread the toes and ground towards the earth, your heels, without actually touching the floor. If it's too easy to bring your heels to the ground, slightly inch your feet back a bit. As you take those long, deep breaths, externally rotate the arms into the shoulder girdle. Press down firmly into the joints of your fingers and the pads of your fingers and thumbs. And then slowly begin to walk your feet to your hands and arrive in a forward bend at the top of your mat, ultimately. Bending your knees as generously as need be. Subtly shift the weight forwards and backwards between the front and back of your feet a few times. Then find yourself coming to perfect stillness in your standing forward bend. As you come to your standing forward bend, bring your head into your hands again, the elbows of both arms, peering back between your legs towards the wall behind. Start to pendulum your torso, your arms from thigh to thigh. And as you swing from foot to foot, from thigh to thigh, begin to slowly build on that range of movement, creating that sort of horseshoe shape around the outer perimeters of your feet. Once you've had a little play with that, come back to stillness. And with your head leaning into your palms, inhale and rise halfway so that your torso is at an angle of 90 degrees parallel to the floor. Exhale, fold back into your thighs, elbows winging wide. Pump it up again with a deep breath in, just coming to halfway. And then exhale, hinge at the hip crease, fold back into your thighs. Inhale, leaning into your hands with your head. Exhale. Put a little bit of resistance, inhaling as you rise, leaning your head into your palms, pressing your hands against your head. Exhaling. One more round. Inhale, lift. And exhale. This time, still with your head resting in your palms. Inhale, hinge at the hips, come all the way up slowly so you don't get dizzy. And leaning your head into your palms, framing your neck with your thumbs, lift your gaze through navel, heart, and eyes again towards the sky. As you exhale, lean to the right, winging the left elbow tip to the ceiling, and strongly grounding through your left heel. Breathe via the armpit all the way to the ankle. On the in-breath, come right back up again to vertical. On the exhale, lean over to the left, and really strongly press down your right heel. On the inhale, come right back to where you started. Step your feet together and take your hands behind your tail. With the fingers interlaced somewhere near your tail, think back bend again as you inhale and lift your gaze to heart and eyes. Let the hips travel forwards and feel that stretch into your hip flexors, your thighs, your belly, and your chest. As you exhale, soften the knees as much as you need and slowly fold, hinging at the hips And again, potentially encouraging those knuckles to rise. Keep the legs side by side, keep squeezing together your knees as you lower your knuckles to your tail. And as you inhale, release your fingers from the bind and take chair pose, looking forward through heart and eyes, raising the arms, lift your heels and balance on the balls and pads of your toes. As you find your balance, lifting your heels, strengthening your ankles, building a little bit of heat, try to subtly nudge the tailbone to the pubic bone and feel activating the deep core muscles again. And as you continue to employ a soft expression on your faces, try to drop your seat a little bit lower and keep squeezing together your knees, your inner thighs. So stay balanced on your toes as you skyrocket, inhaling upwards towards the sky. Land the heels, part the sky, and swan dive, hinging at the hip crease into your forward bend. As you inhale, lift halfway and look forwards along to the tip of your nose and step your left foot back, turn your little toe side of your foot parallel with the back of your mat and take a slow upward cartwheel into Warrior Two, looking out in front of you. There in Warrior Two, looking out in front of you, reach back a little bit more with your left fingertips. Drop a little bit deeper into that front hip and keep the legs active, strong and switched on. Gazing softly towards the middle finger of your right hand, stretch out across your collarbones and your shoulder blades. Really feel that as you breathe into Warrior Two for a few deep breaths more. From your Warrior Two, straighten your front leg with a deep breath in. Kink your hips back and start to reach way, way, way beyond those toes with your right fingertips. Hinge into triangle pose, lightly placing your hand on your shin or the back of your hand against the inside seam of your calf. And then a little bit more shoulder mobilization. Start to turn your fingertips forwards to the front of the room, then between your feet and up the wall behind. In other words, like the long hand of a clock, just let your fingertips travel a great big circle clockwise. And once you've traveled several circles in one direction, at that same steady speed, dial your arm back in the opposite direction. Once you've circled your arm in both directions equally, meet me back in triangle pose with your arms stacked, shoulders relaxed, and a big stretch across your collarbones and your shoulder blades. Now bend the front knee, take a reverse warrior as you breathe in. Drop a little bit deeper into that right hip as you breathe out, and watch the knee doesn't sickle into the big toe. Drizzle your hand down the back leg and try to lean back a little bit more so you feel this stretch into the side body from the armpit to the right hip. Take another deep breath before slow motion cartwheeling of your hands back to the front of your mat. Pivot on your back foot and stride up to the top of your mat to revisit your standing forward bend. Let your knees be soft, jaw be slack, head heavy. As you inhale, make a big circle around the space that you're in, hinge at the hips, and steeple your hands back to prayer. As you exhale, take your hands behind you and interlock your fingers again, only move them up a notch. Send your knuckles to the floor as you smile your lips and collarbones towards the heavens. Stretch out the hip flexors and the thighs. As you exhale, cave the belly, hinge at the hip crease, fold back into your forward bend. And again, never forcing, but just encouraging your knuckles to rise. Keep the legs together, knees squeeze tight as you bend the knees and lower your knuckles back to your tail, back to chair as you inhale. Once again, lift the heels, drop the seat, squeeze the thighs. And as you breathe into that shape, subtly nudge the tailbone to the pubic bone again. Continue to keep the arms out of sight, switched on, fully loaded with juice. Balancing on your toes, gracefully rise, inhaling. And as you ground the heels, simultaneously swan dive and hinge at the hip crease back into your forward bend on the exhale as you inhale, halfway rise. Step the right foot back, turn the little toe side to parallel it with the back of the mat, bend the front knee, and take that slow backward cartwheel to revisit second side warrior 2. Looking out in front of you, heavily weighting the tail, reach back a little bit more with the right fingertips, the little fingertips trying to move towards the wall behind the back of your heart. So you really feel this stretching out your chest. Ride those breaths with steadiness and ease. Strong legs, long spine, soft gaze, straightening your front leg again with a deep breath in. Kinking your hips back and reaching way beyond the tips of your toes before exhaling and hinging at the hip crease into your triangle pose again. As you reach up with your right hand, spread the fingers wide. Now start to mobilize the right shoulder and take the right hand in a big circular motion all the way around the environment that you're in. Your right arm circumnavigating the shoulder. You can follow the progress of your hand with your gaze. Circling one way, smooth transitions between one circle and the next. And then when you're ready, winding your arm back in the opposite direction. Once you've circled your arm in both directions equally or thereabouts, take your right hand up to the sky, lean your back as if on the wall behind, back of your head lined up with the rest of your spine. And then slowly bend the front knee and take a reverse dancing warrior with your right hand landing on your back leg and your left hand reaching up towards the sky. Drop a little bit deeper into that left hip. Watch the knee doesn't sickle in towards the big toe. And then make a slow motion cartwheel. Bring both hands this time to the front of your mat to shoulder width, but spin on your back foot, and instead of stepping forwards, bring your front foot to join your back foot and find plank. Take a deep breath in and squeeze together your frontal hips and draw your belly to your spine. Take a slow breath out and lower yourself with control all the way down onto your front body. Come all the way down onto your front body and make a little pillow by stacking your hands and placing your forehead on your top hand. As the weight of your body mercifully sinks into the earth, just take a little shimmy from side to side over your pubic bone and hip bones. Let your buttocks turn to jelly. As you find stillness again, outstretch your right arm at a right angle to your armpit and bring your left hand tucked in underneath your left shoulder, left armpit, your elbow tucked into your side body like a chicken's wing. Then bend the left knee, draw the heel of your left foot towards your left buttock. Pressing firmly into your left palm, flip the toes of your left foot in the direction, if not all the way to your right fingertips. And then see if you can grab your foot with your right hand. Lower the right side of your face to the floor, and if that feels okay, raise your left fingertips upwards towards the sky, reaching up high. If that doesn't, you can keep your left hand on the floor, and of course you don't have to take hold of your foot. If you can't find it, just take the foot to the floor and focus on sinking heavily into the right side of your shoulder, right armpit, right side of your ribs. Whether you've gone the full way or whether you've gone somewhere on the journey, meet yourself where you are and breathe into that. From that position, slowly roll your way back into your front body. Take your time to extend your left leg to join your right, and then extend your left arm at a right angle to your shoulder. Place your right hand underneath your chest, underneath your right armpit, and bend your right knee and draw your heel towards your right buttock. Pushing firmly into your right palm, lifting the right foot and directing the toes, maybe to reach with your left hand for your foot, or just bringing your foot to the ground. Let your left side of your face, left shoulder sink to the earth. And if that all feels okay, raise your right fingertips, like your right knee, upwards to the heavens and start stretching your fingertips along with your knee over to the right hand side of the space that you're in. Close your eyes and just focus on whatever is going on inside your body. And from there, just slowly find your way back onto your front body. And as you find your way onto your front body, just tuck your chin into your collarbones, your hands tucked in either side of your armpits, your elbows tucked in by your side ribs and waist. Slowly pushing into your palms, nice strong arms. Find yourself just coming all the way up to kneeling. And then just pop your sit bones on your heels and kneel upright. And then just grab hold of your yoga belt or whatever you're going to use, piece of clothing, just to hold between your hands and holding it taut between your hands. If you're not comfortable kneeling, then find a seated position where you are. As you inhale, raise your hands and try to keep the shoulders low. And as you exhale, take the knuckles back and try to keep the neck long as your knuckles descend by your feet. Inhale, raise the arms. And exhale, lower your hands back forwards. Deep breath in. Try not to pop the chest. Slow breath out. Keep the arms straight without locking the elbows. Inhaling. And exhale. One more the same. Deep breath in. And exhale. Now pop yourself off of your sitting bones. And if you are using a yoga belt, make sure it's buckled as you bring yourself back onto your spine. And as you bring yourself down, it's that semi-supine shape where we began, obviously without the support underneath your pelvis this time. Bring the belt to the balls of your toes and the back of your skull and come into hammock pose. And once you've got yourself settled in hammock pose, if you don't have a belt or something that works as a hammock, then obviously bring your legs to a wall and find something that you can rest your legs elevated that doesn't involve any effort. Once you've got yourself in this restorative inversion or whatever version of a restorative inversion you can comfortably come into today, just take a moment or two to settle there and to create perfect symmetry in the way in which you've distributed your body, not just in its shape, but also the way that you've distributed your body's weight. With your legs vertical and suspended above your hips, feel the weight of your thighs melting down into your hip sockets, the back of your body melting down into the ground. Those of you that are in hammock pose might want to take your feet slightly further forwards to lift more of your shoulders upper back off the floor and traction the back of your neck upper back. Make sure that your jaw has remained slack and relaxed. And as you close your eyes, refocus your internal gaze back on the space just above the two eyebrows on the center of your forehead. Feel your temples gliding further and further apart. Release any tension from the center of your forehead, any knots between your brow. Encourage your tongue to melt away from the upper palate and relax deep inside your throat. Feel your shoulders melting away from your ears. Be fully conscious and aware of your breath as it travels in and out of your body through the nose. Spontaneous breath, but involves no contribution or effort on your part. Just simply bear witness to the breath as it rolls in and then ebbs away. Reassure yourself that there's nowhere better that you can be. Nothing that you need to do. Just simply to be here in this moment, observing your body as it rests and as it breathes. An opportunity to reset your body and your brain. Those of you using the hammock to lift your head as well as your legs, bend your knees and release the belt from the back of your head. And then slowly, with your knees more deeply bent, just let your head, shoulders recline, release the belt from the balls of your toes, and everyone just meet each other in a little fetal ball with the weight of your thighs resting on your belly and your knees resting on your chest. Take a gentle circle of your knees and just massage your mid-back, your adrenals, your kidneys. Circle one way and then quietly circle back the other. And once you've circled both ways, come to stillness and let your knees just drop to one side and just pause in recovery and breathe like a newborn baby, some long deep breaths into your belly. When you're ready, bring yourself up to sit with crossed legs and closed eye. And if you do come sitting upright again and revisit cross-legged easy pose, remind yourself to change the cross of your shins and pop the least habitual shin bone in front. Take a few moments to sit quietly within yourself with your eyes still closed, your sitting bones equally grounding your weight, your spine long. And finally, just bring your hands home in front of your heart, bow your head, and look quietly, peacefully, privately, prayerfully into your heart today. And bring to mind whoever it is, whatever situation you find to be there. Bring your Nam and I stay. I don't know how much of these crickets you can hear, but my goodness, how noisy are they? They're really cystic. How does it work?